I'm Lisa Carrier, and on today's Hot Seat highlight from Jackson Ultima, we have a variety of skaters sharing their experience transitioning from freestyle blades, which are the normal blade that everyone learns to skate on, to either dance or synchro blades. The biggest difference between a freestyle blade and a dance or synchro blade is really the length of the blade. So the tail or the end of a freestyle blade is actually longer, which gives you more stability and just more blade on the ice. They also have a larger toe pick traditionally, and those can be really great for jumps and spins, but not always necessary for ice dance and synchro. So I grew up in free skate and dance and synchro. I kind of dabbled in all of it. But when I started skating at the junior level, I started having two pairs of skates. So I had my synchro boots and my free skate boots, but I had freestyle blades on both. I just didn't see the need to move into a dance blade at that time. And it wasn't until I started skating senior and tripping over my own feet and taking down my teammates with me. Like I literally remember being in a block and I was like a human bowling ball, like taking out all my teammates. And finally, my coach said to me, hey, maybe you should give dance blades a try. So it was at that time that I transitioned into dance blades. And for me personally, I didn't find it to be much of a transition at all, but I know that a lot of skaters really worry about, moving into dance or synchro or just a shorter blade in general compared to the longer one. So starting off today, we have Theresa joining us from Austria. Hi, Theresa.
Hey there.
You grew up in synchro, is that right?
Exactly. So I started skating when I was 9 years old. But in Austria, we just start off with the normal classes with all of the skaters. And so we just start off with freestyle blades, essentially. And yeah, I skated with the national team, Sweet Mozart, up till last year when the pandemic hit. So 2020 was my last season skating.
And you always had free skate blades the whole time?
Yeah, totally. Because it was just like the blade you got, it was the first skate and you were used to it. So I just stuck with it. Just didn't want to like bother trying something new because I was scared to kind of like try something new. But then I also injured my ankle and I couldn't wear my normal skates anymore. So because I had problems with my Achilles tendon, so I changed to dance boots in my last season, which was a change. It was a big change because it was lower cut. And then I was like, well, I could try synchro blades in with these skates now, but I decided not to because I was like, okay, it's already a big change to change kind of to dance boots. I don't want to risk it. So I just stuck with my freestyle blades.
I think that's a common concern with people because you spend your life training and learning how to do these difficult turns and twizzles and just how to skate and balance properly. And the idea of taking the plunge and trying something different can be really worrying, especially because it's not really like you have much of an opportunity to try them before you buy them. It's kind of like you just make the investment and hope that they're okay.
Totally. But now I'm actually skating in synchro blades. I got them this year because I wanted to try them and I just fell in love with them instantly. In the beginning, I really thought I was just gonna like fall on my head and crack my head because like they're shorter in the back. But it wasn't actually that bad. I got used to them really quickly and they are a charm. Literally, like skating brackets, skating counters, and skating rockers are just like it's so easy and it just comes with the blade. I don't know, I don't really have to do anything. The skate just like the blade just does it for me, literally. It's so cool. The only issue, it's hard to find your like spin spot on the blade, but other than that, like I love them. They are so cool.
And are you jumping at all in your synchro blades?
Yeah, I'm doing some coaching and like with the kids I'm doing single jumps just. The first jumps I did, it was kind of scary because I thought I was gonna like go back, but it's actually not that bad. And it's really easy, like even like flips or stuff like that, because of the toe pick, it just like boosts you into the air. It's so cool.
Yeah. I remember when I moved into dance blades, it's like the toe pick didn't catch the ice at all. Like I could drag it across the ice and it would just slide. And so all of a sudden I couldn't do lutzes or flips or split jumps even, like it was so hard. And that's one thing that I really love about the synchro blade is the toe pick. So you can still jump like you would normally. And for me, because I've been in a shorter blade for so long, it doesn't affect my landing, and I've figured out my spins, thankfully.
I think it's just like gonna be some practice, and I'll get my spins back, and I'm improving with each time on the ice, and the twizzles are super easy as well. So I'll get there in the long run, and it's just fun to skate in them. It really is.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I know you are a advocate now of synchro and dance blades and just trying it out and taking that risk. But let's head over to hear about some other skaters around the world and what their experiences are.
Let's head over to Toronto to meet up with my good friend Kristen Loritz and hear about the moment that she was sold on dance blades. Kristen, why don't you just introduce yourself and then tell us your story?
Hi, my name is Kristen Loritz, and I skated with Nexus senior team for 7 years, including my final year where I was co-captain of the world champion team. Now, I first switched to dance blades when I was actually 15, and that was my first year on Nexus. Now, prior to that switch, I remember going to our spring and our summer sessions and getting super frustrated because we're learning from some of the best coaches in the world, including Ann Shelter and Shelly Barnett, but my edges are still loud, they're still a little bit scratchy, no matter how much I master that technique. And it dawned on me that, maybe it could be the blades. So when I did make that switch, I remember taking the ice for the first time in my dance blades, doing a forward inside counter, and just kind of taking a moment to pause and think, wow, okay, that's the first time I've done this turn actually totally silent. And that's something really important on a synchro team, especially when you multiply that sound by 16.
Oh, that is so true, and such a good point about having silent blades on the ice. Next up, we're going to head to Montreal to meet Emily from Les Supreme Open. Emily, what's your story?
I switched to a dance blade 8 years ago now, when I was skating junior. The reason why I switched, I was really focusing mainly on synchro, and I wasn't jumping as much, and it was in the time that a lot of people were making that switch on my team, and I kind of went for it. I wasn't too nervous because I was working in a figure skating store, and I knew that at a certain level the adaptation time is not too bad, and I felt like it was the time to make that move. I would say that my first practice might have been a bit rough. Took a little bit of a spill doing this like quick mohawk exercise, and Madeline came over to me. She felt my head, make sure I was okay. I had a little bump. They checked up that I was good, but I mean, it happens. Falling happens in skating. It's just I took a good fall, but after that I remembered that my blades were shorter and I had to be a bit more careful. And honestly, I made the switch because there's advantages for turns, for twizzles. Also, the blades are a bit less noisy. So it's something that was just a no-brainer for me, because I saw what it could bring to my skating. And even now that I'm skating open, I'm still skating with those blades, and I love it.
Thank you. I feel like that's the thing that scares people the most is like, with a shorter blade, am I going to fall and like break my head open? So even having had that experience, like, what would you say for people that have that fear?
I mean, it can happen even with a regular blade. Like, it's just, I mean, with the exercise we were doing, kind of everyone was falling. It's an exercise that's forcing you to out of your comfort zone. It's just that it happened to be my first practice with those blades. I would maybe say skate with them once, not in a practice that you don't know what you're doing, just to get a feel for it. But I mean, it's like, for me, honestly, after that practice, I was fine. I saw some people that it takes maybe 2-3 practices, but it's not something that takes you months to get used to. It's you find your sweet spot on the blade, and then after that, you're good to go.
And we're going to take a very quick break.
This interview is brought to you by Jackson Ultima, the figure skate company. Utilizing their advanced Apex technologies, including higher stanchions, tapered edges, and titanium coating, Apex Dance and Synchro blades are the choice of champions. Combined with their low-cut design boots that promote maximum flexibility without compromising support, Jackson Ultima provides the perfect match. Amazing. Thanks for sharing that with us, Emily. Next, we're going to head over to New Zealand to chat with Melissa, who skates with Black Ice Senior. So, Melissa, what has your experience been like?
I found the transition from my freestyle blades to my synchro blades incredibly seamless, and I've had better luck with my turns. I don't clip my blades nearly as much as I used to. The transition itself was really easy. It took me about 20 minutes to get used to these new blades on my feet, and then a couple of sessions to feel like they were my old blades. And that I was really comfortable on them, which was quite a surprise for me because, you've lost a little bit of blade at the back. But yeah, I've been.
All right, we're going to take the Jackson Jet from New Zealand to Austria to hear from an adult skater, because I know a lot of times adult skaters are especially nervous about changing their equipment and going to a shorter blade. So let's hear from Anna.
At first, I was really hesitant switching to a synchro dance blade because you just never know what you can expect. And I feel like a skater's boot and blade is like a lifeline, and you don't want to just go and try something totally new just for the fun of it. So I talked to my teammates a lot about their preferences, experiences, and that helped a lot. I think it's good to talk to people you know how they experience it. So it now has been 2 seasons, and I wouldn't ever switch back to longer heel blades. The shorter heel and radius make turns and footwork just so much easier. Also, the straighter pick reduces scratching a lot, which obviously in synchro you don't want to hear scratching at all. And I didn't think about the weight so much before, but the shorter blades with the cutouts, they really surprised me. They are so much lighter, and it's a definite plus in spirals as well. And I think I got used to the shorter heel and the different feel for the ice quite fast. Very first warm-up block that we did. I tried to step from a backward crossover to a forward chassé, and I put too much pressure on the heel, and I just like slipped out. I was like, whoop, what just happened? And yeah, it just takes a bit of getting used to where to put the pressure, because obviously with the shorter heel, it's different. And one other thing I think is also important. The shorter blade, for me, needs a bit of a deeper edge radius on the hollow. So it took a bit of trial and error to find the perfect setup with my sharpener. But when I finally did, it really, really made a big difference. And now I feel it's perfect. And it made me a better skater.
That's the most important thing. At the end, you feel confident in your blades, and they're helping you do what you need to do.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Anna. Next up, we're going to go to sunny Australia to hear from our friends over at Infusion Senior. We're hearing from Grace and Emily. They're going to tell you about their experience moving over to dance blades.
We just wanted to chat today about transitioning to dance blades. So I think I went onto dance blades in like 2014.
Yeah, I only switched about 2 years ago. I'd put it off for a really long time.
Yeah, initially I was really apprehensive. I was really scared that I wouldn't be able to do anything and it would take me like years to get my skills back. But once I switched, I found that spins were really hard, but most other things got a lot better.
Yeah, I definitely was so worried about just having that small amount less blade on the back. I was so scared of falling over. But I think the first session that I switched was actually not scary at all. I definitely found all of my turns got like instantly better, which I was so surprised about. But yeah, my twizzles definitely took some getting used to, just having slightly less blade, but a little bit of practice like we all do just makes the transition actually not scary at all. It's so fun.
Yeah, it was actually really exciting having like your turns really, really nice and edgy and like not having to work as hard to get that lift. Yeah, it was really exciting.
Made me really know that I hadn't switched earlier.
Yeah.
Because I feel like everything got so much better that I was just like, oh, why didn't I make this choice like years before I did.
Thank you, ladies. That's definitely something that we commonly hear, people wishing that they had made the transition sooner because of how much of a difference and a help it made in their skating. So next we're going to go to Germany and hear from another senior skater, Anna.
I switched to the Synchro Blade about last season or 2 seasons ago, mostly because of my two teammates. They introduced me to it. And I definitely saw that it's easier to do, for example, difficult steps or turns, because the blade is shorter and you can turn easier. But what I did struggle with was kind of backwards skating.
What part was difficult when you were trying to skate backwards?
Just regularly crossovers backwards. I think because of the toe, there are not these peaks, so I couldn't hold myself. So I always fell over to the front.
Yeah, it's a bigger rocker. I remember when I got new blades, even going from a dance blade to a dance blade when it was new with the rocker, I felt like I was going to face plant every time I turned backwards.
Yes.
Thank you, Anna. Next up, we're going to meet with Noemi from Nova Senior in Montreal.
Hi, I switched for Jackson Dance Blade and Boot during my first year in junior. And it was pretty easy transition. It just feels different in the beginning. And it really helped me improve my turns and twizzles because of the bigger rocker and everything. And it didn't make me fall very much. And you get used to it in a couple weeks. And yeah, that's about it.
And last but not least, we're heading over to Switzerland to meet up with Luana. She's going to tell you about the free speed that she gets from her synchro blades.
I'm currently skating in a synchro team here in the senior B level. 3 years ago, I switched my blades. I had a freestyle blade before, and now I'm skating on a synchro blade. First of all, I was scared because the blade is so much shorter than a freestyle blade, and I struggled with that in the beginning because I needed to refine my balance. And like the first practice, I was really scared. So I told my teammates, and one of them just brought her protector she usually uses for inline skates for my elbows and my knees, and we laughed a lot. But in the end, I didn't use them, but I needed like 3 practices to get used to the new blades. And now it's another feeling skating with synchro blades because they are, I don't know, they feel like I don't have to push that much to get the speed I need, and it just feels like flying. So I just recommend it for everyone to change to synchro blades if you're a synchro skater, because yeah, for me it was a good choice to switch it.
Well, there you have it. Lots of great feedback from skaters around the world who took the plunge and swapped their freestyle blades for dance or synchro blades. Is it a bit of an adjustment? Yeah, of course. But we haven't heard a single person say that it wasn't worth it. So try them out. And if you have any questions, type them in the chat below, and we can all work together as a community to answer your questions. Thanks, everyone.